But really, our best growth as far as finding email addresses is going to be through social media. That's just hands down. That's the place to be. And the most important one actually right now is Facebook. But there's some other ones out there. Twitter is one that's exploding. Pinterest is another one that you wouldn't think of as. When I think of Pinterest, I think of my wife has all these different pictures of different cakes, and she'll also have different pictures of funny things she's seen. You wouldn't think of it necessarily as a spiritual thing, but there are a lot of people that look for spiritual things on Pinterest, and so they're, it's also seen as mainly for women, and it's probably true. But you women need the gospel too, right? we all need it. So that's another way to do it. Another one would be LinkedIn. That's more for business professionals, but there are a lot of people on there that are looking for religious material. And you have to kind of do things a little bit differently on there because of their culture is a little bit different. Google Plus is another one. There are a lot of ones, and I don't have them all. I think I may have a list of them later on, some of the ones I'd recommend. Anyway, if you don't like Facebook, try some of the other ones. Twitter, they're all different in their culture. Twitter has an advantage of you can just say a very short thing and then move on, and you get little tweets here and there from friends and stuff like that. And there are certain advantages to that. And it's not, for me, it's not really as time consuming. Some people spend a lot of time on it. It depends on what you want to do. So anyway, social media, there are ways that you can get them from their email address, and I'll be pushing for that. Facebook, as I said, is the largest. It's also the most complicated, but here's the best advice that I can give you to help promote the growth of the church on the internet. Like and share. Everything that you see from the church, like it and share it. Just 2 buttons, 2 clicks, like, share. And if you make that an automatic thing, it's not going to be annoying. Most of the people that you are friends with don't see what you post anyway. And the few people that see what you post, they're probably going to start thinking, hey, you know what, they kind of like this place. Maybe I need to look into it. Share with them the content. That helps spread the message, and it also helps ensure that you keep getting stuff from the church, which will help you. And that's kind of what it's about too. Also, I want to recommend, if you don't have a page, somebody needs to put one up. And you need to go through the proper channels, and you need to do this right. You need to have some people, at least 2 people probably, as admins for it. That way, if somebody has to leave the church or even worse, dies, then you actually have access to that page and you can make changes that need to be made. So 2 people, even if only one person ever uses it, you need someone to post. And then everyone there liking and sharing. Those are things that you really need, and have a plan for how you're going to get email. I just can't say that enough. These are things that if you want to grow in your influence in the digital world and help the church grow in that sense, this is really the way to do it. Get involved in that and have a plan, and everyone have their part. I said earlier when we got started that this is something that everyone can do. If you can click a mouse, you can do this. You can be a part of this. And clicking a mouse actually has more impact than you realize. If you click like or you click share, or actually preferably both, then you're going to be able to help them. Some more advice. Don't buy ads. It's very tempting. I've kind of flirted around with it. I throw $5 at it here and there just to see what happens from a truth and love standpoint, and you don't get quality leads with that. You don't get people that are liking your page. They're not going to be quality usually, and so I wouldn't do it that way. It kind of falsely bumps up the numbers, and it really doesn't. It doesn't give you a good estimation of what you're actually seeing. Share from other sources. There's some really good stuff out there. You don't know what to put on your Facebook page. Well, good. There are a lot of people out there that are doing some really good stuff. And you have to be careful, obviously, but there's some very good quality content places out there. There's people that are doing blogs. There are people that are doing YouTube videos. There's you name it. People in the church are doing it. And I would highly encourage that. Share it. It's not an endorsement. It's not necessarily an endorsement that you believe everything that has ever come out of their mouth. So it's not like you have to go in and research everything that they've ever believed before you can share anything of theirs. Now, I know our thinking is that if I'm going to share something with someone, that I have to know what I'm sharing is true, and that's true. And I'm not going to share something from Benny Hinn, even if it is true. I'm not going to do it because I know the connotation, the context that it comes from. And I don't want people going back. If you share it, it links to where it came from. You have to be careful with that. People can go back. But I also am not going to be the kind of person that says, if everything has not ever been perfect, then I'm never going to share anything from them. In our world, in the physical world, it may be an endorsement. If I walk up and I start passing out materials from a certain person, that's kind of seen as an endorsement of everything that person teaches. We still know that is not necessarily the case, but it's a lot less the case on Facebook. It's a lot less. People share things from all kinds of sources, and no one ever questions. No one ever looks at that and say, "Oh, they shared it from Barack Obama. They must be a Barack Obama supporter." That doesn't happen. People don't question that kind of stuff. It's just not part of the vocabulary. So while you need to be careful what you share, obviously, you don't need to be so stressed about it that you have to take 3 weeks before you decide if you're going to share an article or not. We can have some balance there. Also, remember, content is king, and what you're sharing should be very good. Another point is to use videos and pictures. Videos will automatically get you much more views than a picture. A picture will automatically get you many more views than simply putting text. People don't read the text. They scroll to see what pictures they have. And now we have, are you doing that right now, Dalton? He's kind of laughing. And now we have a neat feature on Facebook that I'm sure you've seen where if you scroll and you see a video, it automatically starts playing that video. Oh, it's going to get so much, it gets attention. If you can share a video, hint, hint, from a reputable television program that you support as a congregation, hint, hint, then you can promote the truth and love, and at the same time also you're promoting the congregation. There are so many ways to do that. In fact, if you were smart, I don't mean that as an insult. The wise thing to do is with this new internet, this website that you have, would be to download or link to the media that's on our website. Put it on your website. Share what you have on your website to Facebook. Because what that does is when they click on the link, it will go to your website. They'll see the video there, and then they will also look around at all the other things that you have there, including the sign-up list for their email address. And also, it will promote the Truth and Love because we have on the video, it'll have a Truth and Love logo, and if they click on that, it'll go to our website. So we all benefit by that. People click links. And the more links you have, the more people are going to click. So give them stuff to click. Sometimes I amaze myself for my stupidity, but I now and then I look up, and have you ever done this where you're online and you see something, you read about it, you get to the end, and you have all these different things, you might like this. So you're like, oh, that's cool. So I click on that, and I look at that. And then I go to the end of that, and there's something else, and I'm like, oh, that's cool, and I click on that. And the next thing you know, you spend an hour looking at all these clicks, all these links to different things, and it's like 30 long. You're like, how did I waste an hour looking at what did I get out of this? It's frustrating. But at the same time, I wanted to click on it, or I wouldn't have done it. Well, you can use that to your advantage. On your website, have content that is applicable to other content on your website. The more people are on your website, two things happen. The more they're going to see and learn, and the more likely that they're going to give you what? Their email address. The longer they're on there, the more likely it's going to happen. You're building that relationship. So do that. Also, watch your posts. If you're on Twitter, you're on Facebook, whatever. If you're posting for the church or you're posting for yourself, promoting the church, whatever, watch that. Notice the notifications. If people are saying stuff, get in there and interact with them. if they are being, if they're contradicting or they're arguing, be very careful how you do this. Try to keep a positive tone. But it's okay to address some things that are being said. However, there is a fundamental rule on Facebook and all other social media that I have to cover, and that is the idea of a troll. Does anyone know what a troll is? Yeah, most of us know. If you read any of the comments on any videos or any, especially on Yahoo, I don't know why, but Yahoo.com has the worst trolls I've ever seen. Twitter's getting bad too. You're going to see people that are there just to pick a fight. They're going to say the worst, most outlandish things. They're going to insult you and insult your mother, and they don't have any clue who you are. They're just wanting to fight. They just enjoy it. We call them trolls. Here's how you deal with trolls. You ignore them. You don't erase them. You don't comment on them. You just ignore them. They'll get tired of talking, and they'll go away. That's really the only way to do it. If you interact with them, all that does is encourage them to keep doing it. If you if you block them or click an X, they will find ways around that, and all they're going to do then is hound you from even worse. So ignore, and we say we'll give them to God and let God take care of them. Just ignore them. So anyway, watch your posts because you can interact with people and you can help people a lot. Trolls, they're there, and you just have to deal with them. But at the same time, there are a lot more people that are good quality people on there. Drive traffic to your website, like I said, from Facebook. Put it on there. Have triggers on your website so when they come and visit, they'll see where they can sign up and give you their email address. Individuals watch comments and respond lovingly no matter what happens. Oh, there's where I said ignore trolls. Yeah, it's really important. And I've seen some people do some pretty bad stuff, get involved in some bad things. Build relationships over time. You build acceptance. And by the way, this works in the community too. If you want to help interact in the community around, build acceptance. Let people know that you're here. Let people know that you care about them. And then over time, if you do things right, if you're interacting with them, and if you're going to do this in the real world, I would suggest you have some newsletters and just hang it on their door. You're going to find people that will read those things, and it's going to build acceptance. And then when you ever have the opportunity to knock on their door, perhaps, then they're going to know who you are. And I've seen it happen a lot. I've done this in three different places where I've worked, and I've always been impressed. It's not a huge number, but I've always been impressed when I go knock doors at how many people actually read what we put on. Most people throw it away. But there are a certain percentage that will read it, and you will interact with them. The same thing goes with online. A certain percentage will read it and interact, and you're building acceptance that way. Then you build trust based on that acceptance. And then you build authority. And then you can build love. When they trust you and they see you as an authority, and not as the authority, but as someone who knows what they're talking about, that they can listen to you, they will love you. They will grow in that love and that goodwill towards you. And if someone loves you, they are much more willing to do things that you ask them to do. Like, let's have a Bible study. That's what you're looking for. Build that love. And it all starts with acceptance. Here are the ones that I recommend. YouTube. Yeah, YouTube is a big one. Incidentally, Google owns YouTube. And Google, as far as things that search engines, people are searching online for stuff, Google is the top. There are more people by far that go to Google than anywhere else to find information. The second one is actually YouTube. They go and search on YouTube for just almost the same amount of information as they do in Google, and Google owns both of them. That's pretty amazing how they've cornered the market on this stuff. But anyway, YouTube is very powerful. If you can get some videos on there, what we do in The Truth and Love is we have our own YouTube page, and I post all our videos on there. We also use Vimeo, and that's one we actually use for the website. But anyway, YouTube is free. You can tap into, for example, The Truth and Love, and you can share that information with other people through email, through Facebook, whatever. And it's all right there for you. It's very easy to use, and it's actually helpful for other people. Periscope is a new one. It's based on Twitter, and it's a live broadcast of people that are teaching starting to be very popular. There's several people in the church that are starting to do it. So those are some things that I would recommend you at least look into and just see what you can do. So other points I wanted to make about email lists is have a posting strategy. Use MailChimp for email. MailChimp is an email service that organizes your list for you. And I think for $10 a month, you can have an unlimited number of emails sent out with a list of about 500 people. It's pretty big. And then after that, you can go up to, I think you can go up to 10,000 people in an email address list for like $20 a month, $25 a month, something like that. So it's long term, but it's cheap. And they're very, very powerful. I would recommend having physical places to sign up, as I mentioned before, VBS, gospel meetings, door knocking campaigns. Think about getting people's email addresses too. Offer free materials for sign up. You have to be careful with that, but at the same time, it can be handy. If you have something that you know people are going to enjoy, and you just want to give it away, maybe a book, say, hey, how would you like a free book? Just give us your email address, and we'll send it to you for free. People are very willing to do that kind of thing, especially if they get something valuable. Send them a free book. It may cost you $3.99, but it also may help them see the gospel and go to heaven. So. Also, watch for posts, I said, and share, like posts anytime you see them. Invite friends to like the church page. Invite people to group, and that's kind of a more advanced idea. Your church can have a Facebook page, it can also have a group, and a group is different from a page. The advantage of a group is that you can send an email out to everyone in that group. With a page, you can't send it to everyone. With a group, you can. But there's also disadvantages to it, so you kind of want to work with both. The neat thing about a group is that you can interact a lot more. So what you do is you have a page that has a lot of people that like it, and if you see that people are interacting a lot on there, you might invite them to be a part of the group. And the more people interact, different people interact, you can invite them to be a part of the group, and they're going to interact even more, and you're going to build relationships anymore. And also talk about church's activities. There's no reason why we can't get on Facebook and have everyone talking about the fact that we're having a gospel meeting, inviting their friends and family. The more people see other people going, then the more likely they are to want to go. And it's a great way to get the advertisement out. Pass out business cards advertising your website. I would definitely do that. I would have in the back a stack of business cards and just encourage people to go out. And they go to a restaurant and they meet someone and they're talking to them. Hey, why don't you come to church with us? Or go check out our website. Have something on there on the website. If they go to the website, they're going to give you their email address. Hopefully. Forward emails from your church. Help with responses to the email. And here's one. Pray for the influence of the work. Certainly something we all should do and we can do. And these are the very brief ideas of how we can make practical ways to help the church grow in a digital world. And I hope that I've at least encouraged you to look into it and maybe to keep doing what you're doing if you're already there.
And so we have a few minutes, actually. I wanted to see if there are any questions, things that I could cover that maybe I didn't. Yes, Dalton.
You talked about streaming video a little bit, like Periscope, or there's a new one called Meerkat that leaves it up. That's very, very temporary. It goes away after a set time period, or it's not stored like YouTube or Vimeo.
No.
So what's the benefit?
I don't know how long it stores. It does store it, but I don't know how long. You're right.
It's only viewable for a certain period.
Yeah.
So what's the benefit to those type of media, sharing versus a long-term video on YouTube?
I really don't know, except for the interactive part. Now with YouTube, you can like it, but on these other videos, one of the popular features for Meerkat, they do even more. But Periscope does this, where if you're listening to it, you can make comments if you're live. You can make comments, other people can see the comments, they're interacting. And I don't exactly know how, if for example, if I put the video on Periscope and people interacting with it, I'm not sure if I actually get to see who that is, like email addresses, but at least I know that people are interacting and I can see what some of the comments are and stuff. And also the interactive, if you tap on the right side of the screen on the bottom, the more you tap, a little heart kind of pops up. It means you like what they're saying. And it's just neat. And people love that kind of thing. It's just exploded because while it is temporary, it's something that people have shared. And I do believe also that with Meerkat, when you do it, it will send you a link to the audio and the video files so that you can actually download them. I don't know for a fact, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. I was looking into it the other day, and somebody said that you could do that. And I haven't tried either one of them. But if you could download it, then that obviously is a great benefit. It also is easier because it's designed for the smartphone, and so the quality is not intended to be as high production that you probably want to create for like YouTube or something like that. And it's just cheaper and easier.
So then what you're saying is that content needs to be something that people can interact with that makes it that social component.
Yeah.
To be
the more
successful.
interactive it is. Now, the ones that I've seen though, they didn't really ask questions. They just kind of got on there and talked about an idea they were having for the Bible, and people interacted. They just started making comments. But yeah, it would probably be even better if you could ask questions and have them respond. And Meerkat also has the function where it's like a Brady Bunch thing. You have different people. You have up to 8 different people in this conversation, and they're all using their phones. And you can set it so that only certain people can come, and you actually decide who's filling in the bubbles. But if you have an interaction between 2 people and other people are signing up saying they want to be a participant, you can actually allow them to come on and be seen by everyone, which is a really neat advantage because it encourages people to interact. And it also gives you an opportunity to meet people that you've never met before. But there's a lot to that, though. So thanks for bringing that up and confusing everyone. Any other questions? Yes.
Do you know that content is key? You maybe give some suggestions on what type of content you feel like is best consumed? I know you said videos better than pictures and text, but you try to stick it down to a certain size, like 2-minute video clips.
Oh, that's a really good question.
5 bullet points in a blog post.
Yeah.
Are there some kind of guidelines that you go by there? Or an email newsletter or whatever?
There are, and I've seen conflicting comments on it from what I've seen. It really depends on what you're doing. And I don't think that there's a pat answer. I know that, for example, I just went blank. Where they have the speakers come on all the time, and it's the educational stuff. Anyway, they have standards of, they say no more than 18 minutes. TED Talks, yeah. And those are fascinating. It forces there to be 18 minutes, and they know they're going into it. And they say they've done the research to know that anything beyond 18 minutes is wasting your time. So they don't let anybody go beyond that. You can be Bill Gates and get on there, and they're going to cut you off at 18 minutes. But other than that, I think if the content is good enough and it's interesting enough to someone, it doesn't really matter. They're going to read a long article if they're interested in it. But you don't want to kill people with it. So I would vary it up. For example, Seth Godin sends stuff out, and sometimes it'll be 3 sentences, and the next day it might be 12 pages. I would definitely vary it, give them the opportunity to see different things. Also, for promotional points, if you want to get people to go to a website and you want to use video for that, you want to keep it probably 30 seconds to a minute if you're just kind of an advertisement. And that's enough to get people interested in it, and then say if you want to see more, you can go to the website. That is something that I've seen people use with success, but I haven't personally done it very much. Actually, we have some with the Truth and Love. And we've actually gotten more interaction on those than we have when we post the whole video. So there may be something to that. Really good question. Anyone else have a question? Now that I didn't answer his.
Well, you mentioned that it's important to have an email team or congregation line. So if you get people coming to your website, they're giving their email address, so now you've got this connection to them. I mean, most obvious thing today is just auto reply. You know, you just
Yeah.
get, you sign up on the website, you just get this auto reply. I mean, it's very generic. There's no built-in relationship. Just all of a sudden they just start sending you information once, 2, 3 times a week. But it's not from a person. Is it better to, instead of having an email coming from Highland Church of Christ to you, better it be from a member? So it's personal and you're actually, hey,
Yeah.
my name's so-and-so, I'm a member here, and now you're getting an actual email that somebody's actually typing with your situation to that person. And the reason I ask is we got a guy here that is a salesman, and I've always said that he can sell anything. They're just people that are genetically designed to do that. I'm not a salesman, but he is. He can sell whatever he wants to. One of the reasons he's been so good, he told me that the reason he gets a lot of repeat customers is that he does what a lot of people don't do anymore. Is he, after he makes a sale, he will sit down and hand write a thank you note to everybody who buys something from him and mail it.
Yeah, that's good.
And people remember.
Oh, yeah. There's little things like that are really important. I don't know as much, I haven't seen any research about whether or not company versus a private, because we're kind of in a unique situation with that. But I do know one thing, if it's sent by a company or by church, you always want to have somebody's name on the end, not the preacher. You know, you want to sign it, you want to have a real person, a real name, and a real contact information. I'll give you an example. I signed up for something recently that it was to help me with podcasts. And I got an automatic response, which is normal, and that was okay. But then he sent me, I don't know if it was automated or not, because the next day I got a thing and it said, hey Jason, I'm really glad that we got to connect, and I'm really interested in what you're doing. Please share with me what you're doing and how I can help you. And he had a list of things for me to consider. And I emailed him back, and it took him 4 or 5 days, and I got another thing from him responding. And I could tell it was probably automated a little bit. I mean, I could tell a little that it was automated, but it was still very personal. And, you know, what it did immediately was it submitted me to this email interaction. And everything he sends me, I look at, because I believe that even if it wasn't him sitting down and writing to me, I believe he made enough of an effort to make it personal that he actually cared what I thought. I had no question that he cared about what I thought about, even though I didn't know if it was automated or not. So it was pretty good, but you know, how are you going to make it so personal that you can't know that it's not automated? You know, I mean, it's really hard to know. And so I would recommend that.
People can tell when you're being fake.
Yeah, that's right.
I get the sense when, you know, if I get an email from somebody, and this is a generic email that everybody gets,
yeah,
or something that they're gearing toward my situation. You know, I heard somebody once say that they sent off a letter to Kate Ranger or something about some issue. Just got back this form letter saying, oh, thank you so much, with a robot that signed her name at the bottom of it. Well, then they sent her another letter asking about something completely different. Got the same letter back. You know, it didn't matter who sent the letter in her office.
You want to avoid that. If you're gonna have any kind of an automated system, you want to make sure you do all of your homework to make sure that you're going to avoid that kind of stuff. But the best thing to do, and it's probably the easiest way, is just have a team of people that will answer an email. And you want to be careful. You may not want to share your personal email address when you send it back. You might have an email address set up.